Hi guys, Bran here for a different kind of video today. Today I mostly wanted to talk about the Choy thing that a lot of you have been wanting me to talk about. A lot of you guys either on my stream or in the YouTube comments directly wanted me to kind of address the fact that the Choy react video that we did, Choy actually did a full 1 hour react where I had, first I had reacted, made counterpoints to their point 10 system, which was a sort of like a ranked mode-esque, like almost comp mode kind of introduction system to Dead by Daylight. I had made some criticisms about it, and they made their own video trying to counteract my criticisms. A lot of people have been asking how I feel about it. Have I seen it? Have I watched it? You would know that if you have watched it yourself that I do have a comment on that. He also added me on Twitter to let me know that they had also watched it. So I let him know that I was aware of it there as well. But in terms of how I feel about it, I'm not going to be doing like a react to a react to a react. It's not going to be like that Pixel Bush Scott Jund thing. I'm not doing that. This is going to be the last that I say about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Generally, how I feel about it, Choy was nice, cordial, mostly focused just on the points that we were talking about, whether how to improve the system, criticisms that I had about the system that they don't agree with. It was not really anything like bad or something that was personal. I think they did a pretty good job of just focusing on the points and trying to either improve or disprove things that I had said, which is fine. Like I had said in their video, criticism of things like that is super duper important, and even they themselves said that criticism is important if they want their system to be as good as possible. I think after all the viewings, both my first time and after rewatching on the react, I've come to the conclusion that our main problems with our discussion is that a point 10 system would be perfect for rank mode. I do mean that. It would be perfect. Like, the system in terms of a ranked mode would be flawless, but the problem with Dead by Daylight is that there is only one mode that is a mixture between casual and people that would want to treat it like a ranked mode, like a sweat mode. So implementing a mode like this to like a general mode where you have no willing way to opt out of this mode would be really, really stressful, confusing, and limiting to the single casual mode that we have. Yeah, it is unfortunate that a lot of people do take this casual mode and treat it like it is a super sweat mode, but we just kind of have to deal with that, unfortunately, until behavior decides that they want to add a ranked and casual mode separately. Ideally, I would like something similar to what Siege has, where there's like a quick play, unranked, and then there's a ranked mode. That way that we have multiple layers of entry of people sweating, but I feel like this point 10 system will be more fit for like that ranked mode, or maybe even some aspects enter and unranked mode. And then out of like a quick play, it would just like not be a factor at all. I think a lot of my criticisms about it still stand. It's still very, very openly anti-Swift, and a lot of the counterpoints to the things I said about it really didn't dissuade me in any way from thinking that it was extremely anti-Swift. I know it's kind of just like the angry killer thing to be like Swift bad, Swift evil, but the reality of it is that a lot of people just play casually with their friends, and those people would have limited perk choices, have to decide who runs what, and can't run too high value stuff, and it would just kind of create not happy situations for them. Also, the situation where you're being punished for running higher tier killers, is that still a thing? You still don't get to run the full expense of perks that you spent time unlocking and purchasing with your own money if you just happen to like higher tier killers, which is unfortunate. So those things, the counterpoints, I still think those stand, and those are still big problems with the point system. Like I said, in a rank system, totally makes sense, but in a casual mode, I don't think these things should go through. The main thing, and the only thing that I really take issue with, or actually didn't like about Choy in the video particularly, is that near the end of the video, there's this assumption that I simply don't understand the pick 10 system, and that's why I dislike it. And no, that's not really the case. This is something that not only that they have said, but a lot of people just in terms of arguing with Dead by Daylight out in the social media ether do in general, is that there's just kind of this assumption that, oh, well, if I just explained it better, then you would agree with me. You just didn't get it. You're just not understanding, and that's why you don't like it. And I'm going to tell you why this is actually a very, very big logical fallacy that I actually taught about when I was a high school teacher. So when I taught high school and social studies, I ran many debates in my class as well as helping with the debate club. What this is called an ad hominem argument. Which means you're trying to refute somebody's argument by either saying that they have a lack of qualifications or a lack of understanding, and you're making it personal, is essentially, you're drawing it away from something that is factual and making it personal by trying to disprove the person behind the argument instead of actually tackling the points. Generally, why you don't do this is because it's taking the argument away from your point and kind of gets into mudslinging and making it personal and driving it away from the main point that you're trying to make. It's not no longer about how strong is your argument, does it make sense? It's about, oh, well, this person just sucks and they're the one that said it, so ergo this point has to be wrong, correct? For my example, in government classes, we often held debates over controversial laws, policies, where the point is to debate your controversial law or policy and trying to get it enacted, or in some cases, get it, taken away. Attacking the other person, even if it's something subtle like, well, you're wrong because you just don't understand, is ad hominem and does weaken your argument. Not only were students docked for this in my class, but often lost their debates, because even a classroom full of teenagers understand when somebody's just trying to make fun of somebody and make it personal instead of actually trying to prove their point. And I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think this is essentially just a teachable moment, not only for discussing things in the DBD community, but general in life with others. Not only does it make your own point look weaker, but it breaks down the cordial and respectful dialogue that exists that allows us to actually make agreements and make better thoughts, feelings, and policies come together. So trying to keep those things generally out of the land of what is personal, or just saying, well, they're just bad, or they just don't understand, or they don't have the qualifications to understand. Try to keep it focused on the points, because then people would believe you a lot more often, because you're focusing more on the strength of your argument and not trying to disprove the qualifications or understanding of the person behind it. I will say that in terms of the video itself, I'm not a huge fan of the comments and the reactions to it. Choy is 99.99999% respectful, but the comment section was really condescending, rude, and mean. Calling me an idiot, calling me a headache, haha, wishing they couldn't hear my voice because it's annoying. Like really mean and personal stuff that just like has nothing to do with the argument of like, does the point 10 system work? Does it not? I do. And this is something you guys don't just get to see. It happens a lot in the background, is especially when it comes to the reacts. I try to keep things as civil as possible. There's a lot of videos we watch that we don't agree with the points of the person that we are watching. It's still good to watch those different videos and those different takes, because regardless of if they're like somewhere in the being wrong objectively, it is still a take in the community that is important to keep a pulse on the community itself. So it's still important to look at and take in, just as, kind of like hearing what the community is feeling and thinking at the time. So people can say, oh, well, this is a bad argument, or wow, I can't believe they said that. But if you go into the realm of like, oh, well, they're stupid, oh, well, they're an idiot, you're being nasty about it, that's where I draw the line. And those people, I take those comments, I block those comments, I hide those comments, and I block those people from the channel. We can disagree, we can be critical, because I mean, at the end of the day, content creators are public figures. They kind of have to take that, even if it's uncomfortable, if it's not nice. But bullying is the line. Bullying is the line. If you're making it personal and treating people poorly, that's where it's the line. So I try to remove those and keep those kinds of people off the channel and their comments off the channel, because if it's not part of, if it's just personally attacking somebody, that is not part of the discussion. It is not. So I just don't let those people do that. So I guess it just like really sucked to see a lot of people not even like talking about the points Choy or I were trying to make, but just kind of personally attacking me. That didn't feel good. The reason I even started doing reacts and stuff like that is because there were a lot of questions of people asking me to like, what do you think about this content creator's feelings about Skull Merchant? How do you feel about Background Player? This content creator made a video about how Twins is secretly like an A-tier killer, which I think is mostly coming to fruition, that most people agree with that now. But like, instead of just like making a video talking about, well, Scott Junn made this video the other day and here's what I feel about it, we would just, react to it in time. And the two benefits to that is that we're doing it together. So there's input that you guys have and that you guys add that I may not see or understand. And B, it kind of cuts out that extra step where it's like I have to watch it, stop, and then record and kind of try to over explain and re-explain their point before making my point. But you can, with the react, you can just see it there and you can just hear it right away. Also, everything that shows up on the channel in terms of reacts is not picked by me. It is put in my community Discord. There's a whole channel for it where people suggest videos. I pick 5 of those out of the suggestions channel. And then on Tuesdays when we record them, we vote for the top 3. So everything about that process is completely community voted. My intentions with the reacts is always to extend a discussion about something that's complex by adding context, counterpoints, and even like general humor and lightness to it. And I think one thing about that, especially that last part there, is I think a lot of people perceive sometimes that I may be potentially condescending or rude, because a lot of the suggestions that people do make for this game do genuinely make me laugh. Like, if I see a blindly biased killer main say that, like, I don't know, half the perks in the game are anti-tunnel perks, or survivors should have a stamina bar that, you know, they can only run at certain points in the game and then they're stuck the rest of the game walking, like, that stuff's funny to me because, you know, it is a ridiculous suggestion. It would like fundamentally break apart the game and be horrible experience for the survivors. Like, that's like, it's funny to me, like, because like that is such an out there suggestion. So I try to play it up for laughs. I try to giggle and make a zany reaction. But if you're not careful about stuff like that, it can come off as like, wow, this guy's an idiot, even though that's like not what I'm trying to imply at all. So playing up something for laughs is something I like to do, but I think that in general, just to avoid people thinking that I'm trying to talk down to them or think that they're stupid, I could definitely take that from like a 10 to like a 7 in terms of intensity. Comedy is fun, zany reactions are fun, but I don't want anybody feeling smaller or like I'm sticking my community on theirs, because that certainly doesn't feel good. And it, at the end of the day, poor opinions on Dead by Daylight, not that big of a deal. The world is a much bigger and much more important place with a lot more important things going on than opinions about a video game. So we shouldn't be bullying others, tearing people down for this or anything like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts about it. Probably more than you wanted to hear, but just, you know, on my mind. So I will not be doing a reaction to their reaction. If they want to have a more formal discussion back and forth, I posted a comment on their video saying, hey, if you want to have more of a talk about this or this topic in particular or another one, let me know. But other than that, that's gonna be the last thing I say about it. So hopefully that was enough. Hopefully you got all the answers you wanted. But other than that, we still upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.